He was walking on a dark street. There was no one around him. He could only hear the howling of the wind and the sound of the train from afar. He didn't know where he was going. He just wanted to escape from what he was running away from, that terrible creature. A few hours ago, he had decided to explore an old house with his friends. The owner of the house, an old man, had died a few days ago. They had heard that there were a lot of interesting things in the house. Maybe they could find a treasure or at least have some fun. When they entered the house, everything was dusty and moldy. The house was dark. They could only light it up with their flashlights. They started to wander around the rooms of the house. Some rooms had old books, newspapers, photos, paintings. Some rooms had strange devices, bottles, jars, dried plow. Some rooms had old books, newspapers, photos, paintings. Some rooms had strange devices, bottles, jars, dried plants, animal skulls. Was the owner of the house a wizard or a scientist or just a collector? When they reached the top floor of the house, they saw a door. The door was locked. Their friends tried to open the door, but they couldn't. He approached the door. There was a strange symbol on the door. The symbol was like a circle with a snake biting its own tail. Under the symbol, there was a writing. The writing said, "Do not enter here. Death awaits you." This writing made him curious. What was behind the door? Maybe the owner's most valuable belongings were there. Maybe a treasure, or maybe a secret. He decided to open the door. His friends tried to stop him, but he didn't listen. He took a paper clip from his pocket. He tried to open the lock of He tried to open the lock of the door. A few minutes later, the door opened. Behind the door, there was a dark room. The room was smaller than the other rooms. In the middle of the room, there was a table. On the table, there was a candle, a pen, a paper, and a book. The book looked very old. There was the same symbol on the cover of the book. Next to the book, there was a note. The note said, "Never open this book. If you do, you will be cursed." This note made him even more curious. What was in the book? Maybe it was a magical book. Maybe a secret knowledge, or maybe a power. He decided to open the book. His friends begged him, but he didn't listen. He took the book in his hand. He opened the cover of the book. On the first page of the book, there was a writing. The writing said, "The one who opens this book is cursed. The one who reads this book calls death. The one who wrote this book is me." Under the writing, there was a signature. The signature said, Azazel. Azazel, he had heard this name before. Azazel was a fallen angel. He had rebelled against God. He had taught humans magic and weapons. God had thrown him into hell, but he had escaped from hell. He had come to the world. He had deceived humans. He had given them curses. He had fallen into his curse. As soon as he opened the book, he felt something, a pain, a fear, a regret. Then he heard a voice. The voice whispered in his ear. The voice said, "I found you. I will kill you." The voice was Azazel's voice. He lived in the book. He killed everyone who opened the book. He would kill him too. He screamed in fear. He threw the book on the ground. His friends asked him what was wrong, but he couldn't answer. He just wanted to escape. So he left the room. He went down the stairs. He left the house. He ran to the streets, but he was following him. He didn't let him go. He would follow him until he killed him. He was walking on a dark street. There was no one around him. He could only hear the howling of the wind and the sound of the train from afar. He didn't know where he was going. He just wanted to escape from what he was running away from, that terrible creature. Then he saw a light. The light was the light of the train. The train was coming towards him, and he was on the train tracks. He tried to get to the edge of the tracks, but he couldn't. Because he was holding him, he didn't let him go. He would kill him. He screamed one last time. Then everything was over, or so he thought. When he opened his eyes, he found himself in the same room again. The same table, the same candle, the same pen, the same paper, the same book were there. The book was open. On the first page of the book, there was the same writing. The writing said, "He who opens this book is cursed. He who reads this book has called death. He who wrote this book is me." Below the writing, there was the same signature. The signature said, Azazel, and he heard the same voice again. The voice whispered in his ear. The voice said, "I found you. I will kill you." He realized that he had not died. He had just entered a loop. He was in a nightmare, and this nightmare had no end. He had been subjected to Azazel's curse because he opened the book. He had called death because he opened the book. He would run forever because he opened the book. And he would die full, and he would die forever.